Welcome to Veterans Radio at WAAM in Ann Arbor, 1600, and at veteransradio.net on the Internet. My name is Dale Throneberry, and again, I am your host, and hopefully I won't stumble quite as much as I did during that initial program. And joining me in the studio this evening is Ken Roby.
I just had to do that, Dale. I'm sorry. It was too good to pass up.
I know. And joining us on the phone from somewhere, I don't know where, is Gary Lilly. Gary, where are you?
Captain, lost in Toledo.
Oh, okay. And we're waiting for a call from our other cohort in crime, Bob Gould. I'm not sure where Bob is, but Bob, give us a call, would you? We want to know where you are, too. Welcome to our third anniversary program, and tonight mostly we're just going to be making fun of ourselves and telling stories, and we invite you to give us a call here at WAAM. Two numbers locally, it would be 822-1600, and if you're out there somewhere in the hinterland, give us a call at 866-477-9100.
There you go.
How's that? That's better, isn't it?
Yeah.
It sounds so much gooder. All right, joining us on the line first off is our representative. Whoops, I just got rid of Gary. Call back, Gary. He'll be back. Congressman Schwartz.
Welcome to Veterans Radio, sir.
Hey, thanks for asking me to call, and happy third anniversary. It's great being with you.
Thank you very much. Sorry to hear you lost the election.
Well, I did. I lost the primary in August, and that's you move on. One door closes, another one opens.
That's right.
You can't dwell on these things. Always look ahead, never look back.
Looking back on your 2 years up there, what was some of your major accomplishments?
Well, I served on the Armed Services Committee, as you know, and I'm a former Navy guy. I did 2 tours in Vietnam, a tour in Indonesia, and if we'd had people in Laos when I was with the agency, I'd have been in Laos too. Mm-hmm. If you know what I'm saying. If we'd have been there, I'd have been there. But the Armed Services Committee was a highlight, and it's a good committee, great people, and our goal was to do everything we possibly could to both our serving men and veterans no longer serving.
Uh-huh. Well, we certainly appreciate your service to this area while you're up there in Washington, and we wish you much success in the future.
Well, thanks very much. It ain't over yet. I mean, I've been at this for 30 years, so the phone's ringing and will continue to ring, and we'll see what happens. But that's not the point of my call. My point is to wish all of you a great third anniversary of Veterans Radio. And yesterday afternoon, I went to the funeral of Lance Corporal Troy Neely, a Marine killed in Fallujah, just several weeks ago, and from Eaton Rapids, Michigan. And I was in Fallujah a couple of months ago with John McCain and several others, and the service that our service people, men and women, are doing in Iraq and Afghanistan and other places in the world, but their service is utterly outstanding. And I can tell you that the Marine Corps has got a tough job in Fallujah, and just about 10 clicks up the road is Ramadi, and that's a tough detail they've got to take care of there. So this was a funeral for somewhere around 100 Michigan servicemen. Mm-hmm. Women have been killed in Iraq, and it's a sad thing. And part of my district is Eaton Rapids, and there was no place else that I could possibly be yesterday but at Lance Corporal Neely's funeral. And it's going to go on for a while, guys. We're going to have boots on the ground all over the world, probably for the next decade or so. So we just have to suck it up and do what we have to do.
What do you think the future is over there in Iraq?
Well, I'm going to wait to see with the Iraq Study Commission the report of Jim Baker and Lee Hamilton and the Leon Panetta. Bob Gates was on that committee as well. Of course, he's off now because he's going to become Secretary of Defense. But I'll be interested to see what they have to say. It is chaotic, and I don't know that 150,000 American troops can change a situation in a pretty large country with 23 million people. If we can stem the chaos, I hope that we can, and I hope that there is a reasonable way out. I hope there's a way to a stable government in Iraq. But like all Americans, and perhaps myself in particular, as a member of the Armed Services Committee who have studied this so carefully, I'm not certain that there is, but we have to, at least in the short term, we have to try.
Mm-hmm.
This is Gary Lilly. Can you? Am I on the line with you?
Yes, you are, Gary. He's on one.
Yes, you are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
got a news email the other day, but one of the news sources said we have American advisors in Vietnam right now. Is that? Can you confirm that?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay.
That's all right. The president's going over there in a couple of weeks, finally.
The president is going.
What goes around comes around. But I heard you say about Laos. If we'd have had troops in there, I'm in the commercial real estate business in my other life. We sold some property to some Hmong. They were from Laos, and sitting next to them one day, talking to him, I asked him, did you do a lot of hunting over there? I said, you had to for your food, didn't you? He said, oh, yeah. And I said, what did you use for a weapon? I was expecting him to say a crossbow or a spear or something. He said, M16, full automatic.
I expect that. I expect that's true. There's, Laos is mostly tribal people. Only the people on the Mekong River are. I'm sorry.
I asked him where he got the M16s. He said, Americans. I said, but we weren't there, and we both laughed.
Well, that's absolutely right. Yeah, we were there. There was one person I remember particularly whose name I won't say on the radio because he's probably still living someplace. But he was 6'6", blonde hair, blue-eyed. We weren't supposed to be there. We called him Captain Indigenous.
He was Rambo.
I thought he was the Russian guy we'd heard about.
He could have been.
Thank you very much, Congressman.
Thank you, Congressman, for calling in. We appreciate it.
Thanks very much. Good luck and happy third birthday.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Well, we're going to run way behind tonight anyway. It doesn't make any difference. But we are going to go right to our Welcome Home segment. And each week on Veterans Radio, we like to welcome home servicemen and women who have been stationed around the world in the service of our country. I heard about them on Veterans Radio. And tonight we get to continue another good long list of military that are returning home. We've got the 2nd Battalion, 128th Infantry has returned home to Wisconsin as part of the Wisconsin National Guard. We also like to welcome home to Fort Carson in Colorado, the 2nd Squadron, 9th Cavalry Brigade of the 3rd Special Forces, 3rd Special Troops Battalion, 1st Battalion, 8th Infantry Regiment of the 3rd Heavy Brigade Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division. 1st Battalion, 68th Armored Regiment, the 3rd Battalion, 29th Field Artillery Regiment, and the 64th Brigade Support Battalion of the 3rd HBCT. And finally on Friday, we got a lot of them here.
Yes, we do.
Finally on Friday, 1st Battalion, this is again the Fort Carson, Colorado, 1st Battalion, 8th Infantry Regiment, 3rd Battalion, 29th Field Artillery Regiment, and 64th Support Battalion. And finally, the last is the 450 members of the 1st Kansas National Guard, 2nd Battalion, 137th Infantry, returned home to Topeka, Kansas on Thursday. On behalf of Veterans Radio, welcome home. Thank you very much. It took us a long time to get it to sound that good.
Yeah, just the singing is really what's amazing to me, that we were able to sing that well.
I know. Well, it's a cappella, and probably the helium we were sucking when we started singing it. But I'm not really sure. I have an email here from one of our former guests, and he wanted to say, this is from Paul Rykoff, who is the Executive Director of the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. Thanks for all that you do, Veterans Radio. Happy anniversary. Thank you very much, Paul. We appreciate it, and we appreciate all the work that you're doing with the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America.
Well, I was thinking back the other day on the 3 years that we've been on the air, and we've come a long way.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
technically, that's
the beginning.
Yes.
No, but really, when you think back, we've had some named guests. I'm trying to think of some of them now. I'm thinking Max Cleland, the senator.
Yes.
Was on. A former VA secretary was on. We had John Kerry on.
We had Swift Boats Against John Kerry on.
And the Swift Boats for John Kerry. And
we had Donald Burgett.
Yeah.
Of Normandy. He jumped into Normandy with the 101st Airborne.
Yeah, he jumped in at 1 o'clock in the morning on D-Day.
Right.
He was the paratrooper that got separated from his unit, and he wrote 6 books.
Right.
6
books.
books.
In fact, I was just looking at some of them. We've had a number of great authors on, men and women, and we've talked. One of our first programs was also on women in the military, nurses.
Right.
Remember, we had that program with the nurse from World War II. I think her name was, I want to say Margaret McGregor.
Right.
And
Mary.
Yes, and Mary Bailey,
who was a Vietnam
era nurse, and then we had another woman who was in
Kazakhstan.
Yeah, that's right, one of those places.
She was a legal assistant.
Right.
Providing
and she was 20, and Mary was this age, and Margaret was that age.
Yeah, Margaret was in her 80s. I saw Margaret a couple of weeks ago. And she's still doing very well.
They bonded right away. We have some great pictures of that we should put up on our site. We had great stories with them. We've had authors of some incredible stories. Not just recently, but also from Iraq, from Vietnam, from Korea. We've talked to POWs from Korea. We've talked with survivors of the Bataan Death March in the Philippines. It's just been amazing.
Talk about authors. We had the Bury Us Upside Down authors on. That was back in May. Don Shepard and his co-author. I can't remember his name. But
that's what happens with age. With all of us, huh?
I
don't remember.
That's the second thing to go. I can't remember the first.
Hey guys, am I still on?
Yeah, you are.
Yes, you're always on. What do you want to say?
How about when I said earlier that I was lost in Toledo? I was about to ask for alert because I was only a CB man, and they took a detour. I'm coming back from the Wall. I was there for Veterans Day on Arlington Cemetery. Coming back off the tollway in Toledo, they gave us a detour that didn't make sense, and all of a sudden I was in the heart of Toledo. But at any rate, Dale Dye. You remember Dale Dye?
Oh, yes.
He was the consultant, Hollywood actor, consultant to Tom Hanks.
Right.
Dutch Van Kirk, the navigator of the Enola Gay.
Right.
And if you remember, he had one of the great lines that we've ever had on the show. And I asked him about an incident where the Japanese pilot that led the attack on Pearl Harbor said to Colonel Tibbets, the pilot, that we did the right thing when we dropped the bomb and ended the war, that it saved a lot of lives.
Yep.
And Dutch said, we get that all the time from the Japanese. In fact, not long ago I had a kamikaze pilot in training come up to me, and he couldn't thank me enough.
I wonder why he thanked him. Well, Gary, tell us about the weekend in Washington.
Quite emotional and quite gratifying.
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, I did. Well, what happened? The different ceremonies at each place, or
right? Well, let me get into it. We toured Arlington and watched the changing of the guard on Friday. Walked over to the Iwo Jima Memorial, and then later on walked over to the Korean Memorial, the Lincoln Monument, the Wall, and on the way back we walked over to the World War II Monument, which is very, very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I like about the Wall, as simple as it is, it's kind of a tribute to the character of the Vietnam vet, in that wall is a tribute to those that gave their lives, whereas the other memorials are a tribute to the guys that made it. And I kind of selfishly like the Wall.
Mm-hmm.
On Veterans Day, that was yesterday, Saturday.
Right.
There were a lot of ceremonies going on, a lot of wreath laying and such. There was quite a crowd. I don't know, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 all the time, it seemed like. And I spent most of my time up at the Memorial Day Writers Project tent, where people were reading their poetry and singing the songs that they've written about the experience. Some of them very nostalgic, melancholy. Some of them brought tears to your eyes. Some of them made you laugh like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
As an example, the FAC pilots that wrote songs about their, that's Forward Air Controllers.
Mm-hmm.
They wrote songs about their experiences, and mostly they were funny, like the time the guy spotted 2 pink elephants. And as it turns out, the story behind it, which he didn't tell, was that the elephants will roll around in that red clay mud, and they look pink after a while. You probably saw that, Dale.
Well, I didn't see pink elephants, but I did see elephants there.
Okay, well, when he phoned in that he had 2 pink elephants, they told him about the vagaries of drinking too much.
That would make you suspect, wouldn't it?
It would, indeed. But it was a great time. I spent most of my time there, but the times that I spent by the wall I just came to love the character of the people we served with. And there's a lot of young military people there, and a lot of young guys in wheelchairs with one or two legs missing. Mm-hmm. But even the ones that hadn't been injured, they could not make it through the wall, walking past the wall, without every Vietnam vet stopping them and shaking their hands and thanking them and telling them how good they are and what a good job they're doing and how we appreciate their service. Mm-hmm. Gosh, I love that. I love taking these young guys under the wing.
Well, Gary, you've been with the show about 2 years now.
Right.
What were some of the highlights that you remember? What was your favorite show?
My favorite, I had several. Dale Dye was just terrific. He's was one of the producers, along with Tom Hanks, of Band of Brothers, and he said to us for the first time ever, it was breaking news on Veterans Radio, that they're doing a show right now, last year, it should be coming out pretty soon, about a unit in the Pacific where they do a Band of Brothers type show about a unit that went through the Pacific campaign. Mm-hmm. And Dale that guy is sharp. He's a guy that went into the Marines as a private, came out a captain, went through the battle of Way, so he knows what he's talking about. He's a no-nonsense guy, and he's pretty salty, so I was a little bit worried about his language on the break.
He's better than we are sometimes.
Yes, indeed, he is. So that was a great one. And I guess you'd have to replay it in order to appreciate it, because it was just so full of information and sincerity, and from a guy who's been there. And he talked about how they train the actors to do such a great job in these shows that they produce. Platoon, Band of Brothers, Private Ryan. He was the military consultant behind those. Forrest Gump, and he would set the scenes for them. Then the other one was Dutch Van Kirk. I remember that well, because I expected a frail voice, and that guy was much more dynamic than any of us. He had that command tone to his voice.
And I was a little surprised at that too, considering his age. And when you listened to him, it sounded like a much younger person.
He did, and boy, was he suspicious when I first talked to him in the pre-interview, mm-hmm. and said that I wanted to have him on Veterans Radio, and it was, what's that all about? And I said, don't worry, I'm on your side. We're not coming after you for the atomic bomb. I said, I am going to have people who believe that we shouldn't have dropped it on before you, and then I'm going to follow up with you, and then I'm going to have a private who was waiting to go over to Japan in the invasion. And I said, but don't believe me, we're not going to torpedo you. We're looking for your story.
I think the most significant statement from him on that interview was when you asked him about it, if he had any regrets.
That's right. And he said absolutely none. And that's stuff you hear about our guys having nervous breakdowns and going to live in the monastery and all that. He said all those stories that were circulated, they're all a bunch of bunk. He said we all are well-adjusted and live happy lives.
Yeah.
He said and the other, what I didn't realize, everybody said that, what the heck was Hiroshima? Mm-hmm. That was a civilian target, and we had no business bombing a civilian target. Right. He told us that there were 100 identified military targets, including their headquarters for the defense of the mainland for when the invasion came.
Right.
And that it had to be taken out. They didn't know if it was going to end the war, and that had to be taken out for the invasion that they still expected they would have to do.
Right.
That was really eye-opening to me. I always thought it was the right thing to do, but when he said that, I just thought, well, it was a natural target, then it was an obvious target. It had to be taken out.
And we dropped pamphlets and everything else warning the people to get out of town, but they didn't do it. So.
See, I don't remember that. Sometimes when you're, did he say that, or I mean?
No, I just know that.
You knew.
I just knew that from history.
You know, a lot of times when you're doing an interview with somebody, it takes sidetracks, and your mind is spinning, trying to think of, my gosh, I didn't know that. What's the best follow-up question?
Right.
And so it's pretty interesting. I can sit back and critique people all day long that are doing interviews, and then you get in the hot seat and you think it's a whole different thing.
It's turned out to be a lot more difficult, I think, than we ever thought it was going to be, just so that we can always try and keep our interviews flowing, and we want to make sure we get the answers out that we think that our listeners want. And so, also we're all interested in whatever their topics are. Otherwise, we wouldn't have them on. That's one of the fun things about doing your own show, is that you can have your own, whatever guest that you want on there.
Yep.
And when you think the history that we've had on this show, that it doesn't matter if it's a private or a senator. The history that these people have participated in.
Well, that goes right back to our ordinary people that have done extraordinary things. And I saw that actually written in the paper the other day, and they were talking about some of these Marines recently that have been killed in Iraq and Afghanistan in our local area. I mean, we've had, 4?
Yeah.
Or so?
4 or 5 in the last
couple of weeks.
Days.
And, that these were just, young, smart young men that were doing what they thought was right, and they unfortunately were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that they are getting the recognition that they deserve, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, and I think I really truly do believe that a lesson was learned with the Vietnam vets, and these guys aren't taking the brunt. They're not taking the. There's still some attacks about them, but
but you find the vast majority of the attacks are on the policy, not on the soldiers themselves, which is the way that it should be. I mean, they're just doing their job. We're coming up at the bottom of the hour here on Veterans Radio on our 3rd anniversary, and we're going to get a couple of sponsorships in here right now, and then we'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to Veterans Radio.
The Medal of Honor is the highest award for valor in combat given a member of the Armed Forces of the United States. There have been over 3,400 recipients of the nation's highest award. This is one of them. Private First Class Emery Bennett, although wounded, continued to defend his position. Details after this. At approximately 2 a.m., 2 enemy battalions swarmed up the ridgeline in a ferocious banzai charge in an attempt to dislodge Bennett's company from its defensive positions. Meeting the challenge, the defenders delivered destructive retaliation, but the enemy pressed the assault with fanatical determination, and the perimeter was imperiled. Fully aware of the odds against him, Bennett unhesitatingly left his foxhole, moved through withering fire, stood within full view of the enemy, and employing his automatic rifle, poured crippling fire into the ranks of the onrushing assailants, inflicting numerous casualties. Although wounded, Bennett gallantly maintained his one-man defense, and the attack was momentarily halted. During this lull in battle, the company regrouped for counterattack, but the numerically superior foe soon infiltrated the position. Upon orders to move back, Bennett voluntarily remained to provide covering fire for the withdrawing elements, and defying the enemy, continued to sweep the charging foe with devastating fire until mortally wounded.
The Medal of Honor series is a production of Veterans Radio.
And we're back here on Veterans Radio, and speaking of Carnahan Chevrolet, I've got Wayne Carnahan on the line. Good evening, and welcome to Veterans Radio.
Well, thank you. I am a first-time caller, and thank you for
I know that.
me to call.
We want to thank you for your support of Veterans Radio.
Oh, this is an honor for me to be on the air with you.
Well, Wayne, I wanted you to tell us a little bit about the GM military program.
General Motors, this had been maybe 9 months or 12 months ago, came back out with the military program for the veterans and the active soldiers, and it's a $500 additional cash reward towards the purchase or release of a new vehicle. And so GM and Chevrolet, they're trying to do their part, and I know that the corporation's been very supportive through the years of all military programs and all the vets, and they are American, especially my car division, Chevrolet. I mean, you can't get any more American than that. So I think it's a nice program for the women that are out there today to take advantage of.
Well, what paperwork? That's what I was thinking of. Is there any paperwork that the veteran has to bring along to get
they
that?
have to bring. They have to be honorably discharged also. That's the other part of the.
So you need your discharge or what they call DD 214.
I want a copy of their discharge papers or any ID that they have that they're currently active.
Well, Wayne, I want to really thank you for giving us a call. Of course, I want to welcome you as a brand new sponsor to Veterans Radio, and I hope we can have a long and profitable relationship for both of us.
Well, I'd like to make this offer to the people that are tuned in. I thought about it over the weekend, and I'd like to do a little bit more for your station. This week, if anybody comes in and mentions your station, is it okay that I give a $100 contribution in their name to your station, to the Veterans Radio?
Oh, not at all. Twist my arm, oh baby. I think we can do that. So anybody that comes in that purchases a car this week, and mentions Veterans Radio, will get a $100 donation
in their name.
In their name.
In their name.
Oh,
so
that's
they can
even
use
better.
that as a tax deduction.
Okay, all you. I know a lot of us out there have got real clunkers, and it's about time we got rid of them.
It doesn't have to be new. It can be used also.
New and used. That's even better.
Very good.
All right, well, we're going to get our email flashes going out there also. And, Wayne, I want to thank you very much and look forward to talking to you again.
Well, I look forward to you inviting me to call again because I'd like to do this again.
We shall.
And I want to thank all the vets that are out there and for allowing us to have the freedoms that we have today.
Amen to that.
Amen to that is right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wayne Carnahan of Carnahan Chevrolet in Ypsilanti. Exit 183 off of I-94, right around the corner by the McDonald's.
Right by the McDonald's.
Great.
That's great. Good deal. That's a good deal.
Remember that. Now, for those of you out there that are listening, you get a $500 discount for being a veteran with your discharge papers, your DD 214, and if anybody who happens to be listening goes over there and mentions Veterans Radio when you're buying a car, they will give a donation to Veterans Radio in your name of $100. So please, lots and lots of you go over there and buy cars.
And that's tax deductible.
That's right.
Because they will donate it in your name, so you can take it off your income tax then. That's a good
I don't know
deal.
how to. We are not tax accountants, nor do we pretend to be any. So,
No, but he said that. He said that.
Well, I'm not sure how they'll do that, but we don't care about that. All right, and also joining us on line 3 is our intern from last summer, Ashley Wink. Good evening, Ashley.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
We are terrific. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, I just wanted to call in and say happy anniversary to Veterans Radio.
Thank you. It's much appreciated.
And that, I really, really enjoyed my summer hanging out with you guys and getting to learn about doing radio. And I wanted to thank you for the experience and say what a great job you guys are doing.
And we welcome you back.
Thank you very much.
You're coming in and doing a few things for us, and we certainly appreciate it.
Well, I couldn't stay away for too long.
Yeah.
I know. It's just that magnetic personality we have.
Exactly.
We're your stepping stone to Sirius Radio.
That's right. Ashley was our intern last year. And this year's intern, she was with Sirius Radio and
in New York City.
In New York City, yes, actually. And she likes us better than she does those guys there.
Well, they don't have Veterans Radio at Sirius.
That's true. We need to get a hold of them now. Everybody who has Sirius Radio out there, get a hold of whoever you bought it from and tell them you want to have a Veterans Radio or Veterans Radio channel on that.
Tell them you want us on it.
That's right. We need to be on that thing so everybody can listen to us around the country at all times.
Yep, exactly.
Exactly. Thanks, Ashley.
All right. Take care, guys.
Study hard in school.
All right. We'll see you soon again.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, Dale, Ken.
Yes.
You were talking. You asked me about the memorable guests. I had a couple more that I thought of.
Well, that's all I
One
got
of them
time
was
to
one
think.
of the. Do we have another guest coming on? Or do I have a
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, I had the sweaty armpit moment when I had the black infantryman on from the Korean War, and I said, I'd like you to debunk the myth that the black soldiers threw down their rifles and ran in the face of the enemy.
Right.
And he thought that I was saying it, and he came back with, what? Who threw down their rifles? And I was stammering and stuttering, trying to say, I didn't say it, I want you to debunk the myth. And he said, well, you better debunk that myth. And I said, no, I want you to debunk that myth.
I think also part of that myth, wasn't it, that they didn't have enough bullets?
Well, that was one of the
That was a truism. That was a
why
truism.
hang on your rifle when you don't have any bullets left? They didn't give him any ammunition.
Yeah, how are you going to fight them if you don't have any bullets?
That just reminded me of another program that I really did enjoy was our Tuskegee Airmen show.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason that two reasons I enjoyed it. Number one, they had great stories about being Tuskegee Airmen and not losing any ships or aircraft and so forth. But the way that we had met them, if you remember that, Ken, we went down to the Dingle Veterans VA, and we were doing a presentation about POWs and MIAs in World War II, and we were talking to
Colonel Jefferson,
and this guy walks up and he said, "Excuse me, are you Colonel Jefferson?" And he looked over at him, and he said his name. And I don't remember what his name was, Bill or Joe or something like that. And they had shared the same cell in a German prisoner of war camp 60 years ago and hadn't seen each other since. And just hugged and cried and laughed and everything right there.
And what was amazing is that they were living just a couple of miles of each other all this time.
Yeah,
and never knew it.
And that was another place that we met the survivor of the Bataan Death March.
Yes.
And then we had going along with that, we also had our Marion Shapansky on the program, who was a survivor of the Holocaust and 2 tours in a camp, and just told mind-blowing stories. I mean, you can never get the actual truth unless it's somebody that's been there, which is another reason that we do this program. And as Gary, you always point out, if we don't tell our story, somebody else will, and they're going to get it wrong.
That's true. And Marion Shapansky, on the one hand, he had the most fascinating bit of history, but he was also the most frustrating guest because he would tell us all of these stories in our pre-interview sessions with him, and then when we get him on the air, the only thing he wanted to do was talk about the Germans. And he'd ask about, and he would say really derogatory things, and then he would look at Ingrid and say, "Not you, Ingrid, not you, Ingrid." But some of the stories he told, and that guy was released once, and he still doesn't know the reason, and he went back and he fought in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, was captured again, sent back to Auschwitz again, and when it was finally liberated, he fought with the guerrillas against them, and eventually made it over to England after the war. But do you remember when he talked about how he was hung in a barracks? There was a special barracks where they would hang these guys with their arms tied behind their backs all night long, and he got that punishment for eating a handful of grain in a granary that he was working in. They saw him stuffing a handful in his mouth. Right. And every now and then this one very sadistic, brutal German guard would come by and swing them so that it would just cause them more intense pain. And they would hang there all night long, and then in the morning they would let them go, and they were expected to go right out into the fields again and work a full day.
Right, and one of the ways that he survived, he said, was that he saw a wheelbarrow standing vacant one time, and he just started pushing it around. And they figured he was a worker, so that's how he lived.
That's what he did when he got off the train. That's right, because they were separating him. Some were going to the gas chambers, and some were being sent to the work areas. And the guy had instincts. He was young.
Yeah, he did. Survival instinct, obviously. He was a very fascinating man, I thought. We're coming up on our last break, and we'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to Veterans Radio. And we're back on Veterans Radio on our 3rd anniversary, and I got another email here for you.
Okay.
This one says, "I love your show. You have constantly creative programming. Though I have never served in the military, I find these stories fascinating on many levels. Best to all of you on Veterans Day." Signed, Dr. Ruth Ost of Temple University.
I wonder if she thinks this show is good.
I don't know. If she's listening, she'll give us a call. Oh, which reminds me out there, if you want to get on the air and give us a comment, call us at 822-1600 or toll free, 866-477-9100. That's 822-1600. What?
I want to ask you,
yes.
What was your favorite show?
Now you got me.
I put you on the spot, didn't I?
Yeah, put me on the spot. I think probably, and I'm trying to remember, pardon?
Mark Lenke's online, too.
I'm trying to remember the name of the lady's name. I like the show that we had the woman on, and who played the music and sang the songs from World War II. Betty and her Krausers, or whatever they were called.
Yeah.
And she's from Saline, and I'm sorry that you caught me on the spot here, but I thought she was terrific. And I can't remember, but she told us all about being in downtown Ann Arbor at the end of World War II and how the streets filled up with people, and it was just amazing. And I find her to be an amazing woman too. She lives in Saline.
Let's take line 3.
Senator
Senator Stabenow is on line 3.
Oh. Okay, well...
3.
That's 3. Punch 3, right? There, that's 3. Good evening. Nope, we got a tunnel there. We'll go over here. Hi, you're on Veterans Radio.
Hello.
Hello, Mark.
Yes, it is.
Hiya, welcome back.
Just wanted to offer up our congratulations from Washtenaw County Veteran Services on your third-year anniversary. We hope you have many more, and certainly appreciate all that you do to help raise the awareness of the value of the veteran in our communities. And just an FYI for you, Dale, Betty Flanders was the name of the lady out of
Thank you very much.
Yeah, a wonderful person, an excellent singer, and very inspirational whenever she does one of her presentations at a lot of the activities around town.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. Betty Flanders, that's right.
Yeah.
Flanders Fields. All right, now I remember.
You keep up the good work there. We appreciate it. And I have to confess, I think we all know where our heart is with regard to veterans and veterans programs. And you guys always present it in a fair and balanced way, if I can use that, coin that phrase. But I've always respected that fact in your interviews, that you're interested in bringing out the facts in an accurate and fair way, and we appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. We'll be talking to you. Thank you.
Bye.
And joining us right now on Veterans Radio is our re-elected Senator, Debbie Stabenow.
Well, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and happy third anniversary.
Isn't that amazing?
I can remember when it was year one.
That's true, and hopefully I know we've improved over the years, as everybody does with age, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, and it's, as we all know, I mean, we have more and more of our brave men and women coming home now and putting on the veterans cap, and it's so important that we be doing everything possible to support them and give them a voice, as you do, and just make sure that not only we're supporting them when they're in combat, but when they come home, that they have the health care they need and access to a job and home and all those things that they so much deserve.
Well, we are counting on you and the rest of Congress to do that for our veterans and for even our older veterans. We want to make sure that everybody gets taken care of.
Oh, no question about it. No, my dad was in World War II. Actually, my grandpa was in World War I, and he's no longer living. But we have a lot of our World War II veterans, still with us, and as well as Korea and of course Vietnam, all of the eras. And my husband was in the Air Force and Air National Guard for a total of 14 years. So. I live with a veteran.
So do we.
Yeah, right. So, and I'm hopeful, the last few years, the Veterans Healthcare budget has been consistently underfunded, under-budgeted, and this has been, as you know, one of my real passions to get this right. We've got too many veterans waiting in line to see a doctor, driving too far to see a doctor, get the kind of care they need, and we've got a lot of folks coming back now that need mental health help with post-traumatic stress syndrome and so on. So we need to be stepping up, and I'm very much a leader in trying to make that happen.
Well, we're going to keep your feet to the fire on that one because that's one of our pet issues. Also, we want to make sure that everyone gets taken care of, and they've been willing to pay that ultimate price, and we think that we should be able to pay the ultimate price to take care of them also.
Yep, absolutely. Well, as you know, I just came off the election. I was very proud to be reelected and to have that with the VSW endorsement. And one of the reasons I know I received that is because of my work on veterans health care. And now with a new Congress, with a new set of priorities and values, we're going to move that on up the list, make it a much higher priority.
Well, we wish you all the good luck and success with all of your endeavors as you go forward with the new Congress, and it should be interesting, that's for sure.
It sure should. So you take care, and I'm looking forward to celebrating your 4th anniversary.
Well, don't wait until next year. Call us.
Okay.
Call us before then.
I won't. I absolutely won't.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. There you go.
There you go.
Politicians from Senator calling in.
That's right. So, all right, I have another email.
Okay.
One last thing. This one says, congratulations on your 3rd year of Veterans Radio. I'm really happy for and glad to see your success. This is from Jeff Circle, who was an author on one of our programs last year. He wrote a story about surviving basic training. Mm-hmm. And I think his book is listed on our website. I'm pretty sure it is.
I was thinking earlier about the shows that I've done that stick in my mind, and there were 2 of them really. That one of them we talked about earlier was the women in the military. Mm-hmm. There was actually 4 people on that show. The 4th one was a taped interview that I did with a sergeant that used to work with me and for me in Germany. And I remember that show, and the contrast between the different eras I thought was really interesting.
Well, I don't mean to jump in here, but we've had Lieutenant Colonel Christine Cook on, who's locally with the National Guard, and then we had Kayla Williams on and talking about her book about Love My Rifle More Than Me, talking about her experiences in Iraq. So I think we've had a great cross-section of stories, and we're going to continue doing that, and we encourage you as listeners out there to contact us. If you have stories that you think that we should put on the air, we'll be more than happy to talk to you about that. You can call that 800 number, the 866-477-9100 number anytime, leave a message, and we'll get back to you, or you can send us an email from our website. Just click on Contact Us, and we'll get in touch with you and maybe see what we can work out, because there are so many stories out there and so little time, as they always say.
And there was one other show that really sticks in my mind. That was the Survivors of 9/11 that I did. We had 3 people on talking about their experiences in the World Trade Center and how they survived it. And I found that was a very moving show for me, personally, because I knew one of the guests personally, and to hear their stories and what they went through to survive, to me was just amazing,
Well, I think that anybody that survives those types of things are amazing. And we're coming up on 2 minutes, so we've got to wrap it up for this evening. So I'm going to say thank you all very much for listening. And I want to thank all of our sponsors, of course, Gary Lilly and Associates, Quantum Physical Therapy, Pat the Handyman, Schrader Yachts, Carnahan Chevrolet, Sidetrack Bar and Grill, Len Pitlack, and Legal Aid for Veterans. And Ken, I know that you have something that you'd like to say?
Yeah, well, before we go, we want to remind everybody that there is no show next week. We have Lions football starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we won't be back for 2 weeks. That'll be Thanksgiving weekend. So that Sunday evening we'll be back on the air. And Armistice Day was originally set aside as a U.S. legal holiday to honor the end of World War I, which officially took place on November 11th, 1918. In legislature that was passed in 1938, November 11th was declared a new legal holiday known as Armistice Day. As such, this honored World War I veterans. In 1954, after having been through World War II and the Korean War, the 83rd U.S. Congress amended the Act of 1938 by striking out the word armistice and inserting the word veterans. On June 1st, 1954, November 11th became a day to honor American veterans of all wars. Veterans Day is the day set aside to thank and honor living veterans who served honorably in the military, in wartime or peacetime. We at Veterans Radio thank you for your service and salute you.